I want to talk about, so you went from, starting this business. It was struggling at first. And you mentioned earlier too, it was struggling in the beginning stages because you were just doing a lot of the wrong things and investing energy in the wrong places, which is, by the way, part of the learning curve, part of what needs to happen. And like it can just be shortened so much. I've started so many businesses that have started and failed, and now it's at the point where, what would take someone 8 to 10 years to kind of grow and scale out, I can feel like I can confidently sit down with them and give them the plan. Like, here's exactly what you're going to do for a year or two. Only because it's like you start to learn all the growing pains, you start to learn the scaling pains. You've done the wrong things enough times, but this is the value of like actually getting a chance to hear from somebody else. So I'm curious, Ravi, for you, what was some of the things that you were doing in your initial stages, and where did the pivot, where did the change happen?
Yeah, so for me personally, so first 8 months, I started an advertising agency. It's called Prospect Social. I still have it to this day. Today, we're working with like really large companies like Op City or Loan Depot. Like, people buy hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of leads a month from us. But back in the beginning, when I first started it, nobody knew who I was. So some of the biggest mistakes that I made in the very beginning was this. Number one, I didn't tell anybody what I was doing, right? I made the transition from, in my mind, from law school to entrepreneur, but I didn't want anybody to know that I was an entrepreneur until I was successful, because I was afraid that if I came out and I said I'm running an advertising agency and it wasn't successful, everyone was like, you should have been a lawyer. Like, instead I wanted to come out and be like, hey, I already have the successful advertising agency. Like, look at me now, right? Once again, my mindset was totally fucked back then. But anyway, what I'm pretty much saying is that when you start a business, the first thing you should do is really try to tell as many people as possible about it, because people buy from you really based on three things. They trust you, they trust your company, and they trust your product or service can actually deliver what it's talking about. Well, when you first start a business, that third one, their product or service can really deliver. You probably don't have any case studies or testimonials yet. So it's really hard in order to get that one secure when you're talking to someone. But you can get the first two done, your company and your person, by speaking to people in your close friends and family, right? And it's because of that network marketing works really well, because you're pretty like, I'll be really honest with you, most network marketing products are honestly usually pretty garbage. But so the product or service, the testimonial and case study from the product or using the product or service is usually pretty low. But the trust from the person and the trust from the company is usually really high, because it's your sphere of influence. And so I didn't do that for like the first 6 months. I was afraid. And then I made a post on my Facebook about one of the clients I was working with. And all of a sudden we did literally like $10,000 in 10 days, which was the most amount of money I'd ever seen in my entire life. It was unbelievable. Just from people being like, oh my God, Ravi, I thought you were doing law school. Here, do this for me, or here, let me introduce you to this person. So the first thing was trying to keep it a secret from people until I was successful. Don't do that. It's a terrible idea. Your first wins are easily going to be from your Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, friends, family, whatever it is.